Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another week of TCG News. As always, if you guys are looking for Force Will singles or sealed product or Caster Chronicles product, be sure to visit the link in the description below for Happy Little Hug Factory. I believe they actually sold out maybe of the Force Will product for the pre-orders for the new set, so double check on that, but I think that's all gone. But they do still have pre-orders for Caster Chronicles, so the Star Deck might be sold out. They were really low on that, so if you want that, be sure to check that out. And the booster box as well is only $30. And be sure you click that link in the description so they know we sent you over. If you go and just buy the stuff, they won't know that you guys heard from us. So make sure you click that link. And yeah, and if you guys are also looking for a magnetic playmat from DKP Accessories, be sure to go to their website in the description and you use code TCG for 5% off. If you want, it magnetizes your cards to the playmat so you can play on the go in your car to an event, outside in the wind at your locals without having to move stuff around, different things like that. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. So we had a couple of interesting bits of news kind of all over the place this week, so we'll go ahead and jump into it. Pretty much all of it, or all of it, is Force Will related in some fashion. So the first bit of news is the Arizona WGPQ, which is coming up this upcoming week or two, something like that. It's being run by Jesse James Comics and Games, and Jesse James posted on the Force Will Global Facebook group saying that they were going to have to downsize the pricing. If you guys remember last time we had reported on it, they were saying they're going to do pricing such as energized plates, the coins. They were going to potentially help pay for someone to go to Japan, partially at least, and a bunch of different other stuff. And they went on a post saying how they won't be able to do that because as of so far, they've only had one person contact them interested in pre-registering for the event. So they're kind of afraid of not enough people showing up and they would have to take a big loss in terms of what they spent on the tournament and how many people showed up. They also said they haven't really had any contact or have trouble getting contact with the company, even outside of the event. They said just for their monthly promos through the distributor, they really haven't been getting, and when they do get it, it's really old stuff and basically similar problems with the promos that we have at our locals and we've seen a lot of other people have, which is, going through the distributors when they already had fixed that by not going through the distributors and going to the stores directly. They reverted back to the distributors and we're having the same problems we've had before. So they said, as everyone knows who's been following Force of Will, the company obviously is not nearly as communicative as it was before. Like even I saw recently on Facebook, because it's bumped up, that we still haven't heard from the Q&A that Svetlana was doing, where she was going to contact Force of Will with all the questions everyone asked, just like the old Q&As we used to do. And the last we heard of that was over a month ago, and we just haven't heard anything since then, so it's safe to assume the company just didn't respond to that. Whether it was a previous agreement where the company asked Svetlana to do that and they would answer the questions, or some version of that, whichever direction it took, it looks like the company is not following through on that. So it seems to be par for the course, unfortunately, which is unfortunate because if you're a store that's running this WGPQ, you should have full contact at all times with the company. But I'd still highly recommend, if you're planning on going to the event, to still go and support this store that's putting up still stuff for it and pricing and all that. It still should be a lot of fun for the event. Jeremy from Ruler School is still going to be going there to stream it, so that'll be really cool, and it'll be interesting to see some of the meta for it as well. So definitely still go support it, and we'll let you guys know of any developments. And if you want to see the full post by Jesse James Comics and Games, be sure to just go to the global group and you can search for it. And it should be one of the first ones that pop up if you can't read it here. Or you can go to our article version of the news in the link in the description to just click on the image and read it in its full entirety. In a different bit of news, once again, Jeremy from Ruler School did a post, both on his Ruler School page on Facebook and in the global group, asking people to go and do this online form. And basically he was saying that someone who he can't go into details about, or several people are interested in maybe running a new version of the Force Will Circuit series. The Circuit series was something that ARG used to do. Obviously, ARG no longer does that for Force Will, or really, I think, hardly any other card games anymore. But Force Will was the first one that was dropped after, once again, the company did not communicate with them, from what we were told at least, to renew that. So it looks like this new group of people want to sort of continue that trend of running the circuit series, because it's a nice like mid-tier event that can be held at a lot of different places across the country. And so yeah, so there's a survey which you can find on the Ruler School Facebook page, or if you go to our article version of the news, like I said in the description below, we have a link to it if you go to this section of the news. And it'll take you right to that document, and you fill it out, asks where you're located, how many people attend your locals, what you look for in pricing, etc. And at the bottom of it, when you're done, it has a link to send to your local game store, and it's a separate type of survey for your local game store for them to fill out with different types of questions. So yeah, if you guys are excited about that or want to see more about that, make sure you fill out that survey. We'll go ahead and continue on that trend of news somewhat regarding Jeremy and all that. So the Worlds dates were announced for the Grand Prix Worlds for Force of Will, and it's going to be November 17th to the 18th. And it does say on the page that the first day will have artist signings and things like that we've seen before, and day 2 is going to have an unspecified event, so I'm curious what that would be. But yeah, so it's nice to have official dates if you guys are planning on going. It's best to buy tickets now before they go up in price. The earlier the better. And with that announcement came the official announcement from Jeremy once again at Ruler School, that he said that Vite Ramen, if you remember Vite Ramen, they make awesome noodles, like a healthy ramen, and they sponsored Oscar to go to a GP to stream it, which was really cool, really awesome of them. And it was announced that they're going to be sponsoring Jeremy to go out and stream Worlds as well. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. So it's cool to see that they're still supporting Force of Will, especially in this capacity. Worlds is definitely a much bigger investment, so I'm excited to see what will come from that, and that we'll actually have a stream, since once again, obviously Force of Will is no longer sponsoring those. I'm glad we're able to get something for Worlds this year. Last thing I'll talk about is ICV2, the popular website that tracks a lot of different games. They came out with their normal, I don't know if it's quarterly or whatever, but top 10 hobby games, or games that are sold in hobby stores, stuff like that. And once again, similar to last time, obviously Force of Will did not make the top 10. I'll be curious to see this next batch though, because the next batch will be when the new company has been in control for an extended amount of time for the full. They might have been for this last one, but just to be safe and see if they're able to break back into that top 10. But yeah, we'll wait and see. One of the surprises was actually that Keyforge, that card game where you basically just go and buy a deck and throw it in and play with it. Just that you don't really pre-construct decks or anything like that. It actually beat out Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's in third place. Just they're obviously Magic and Pokemon. So that was kind of an interesting thing there. I didn't quite expect that, but I think it makes sense when you really think about it. But yeah, and then another notable is that Transformers TCG is pretty high in there as well. So pretty interesting group of top 10, at least for this time around, so we'll see how this holds. So that's all the news for this week. Let us know if we missed anything in the comments below. And yeah, if you guys want to support us over on patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, be sure to do that, where we can we have exclusive videos on there that we release weekly. We have like 4 coming out somewhere around there this week. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.